So, good afternoon, everyone. I hope that everyone is feeling well this afternoon, despite of many challenges and problems that we face every day, especially in our online class. We have a lot of requirements, quizzes, and exams. But we know that God always helps us. By the way, our topic this afternoon is all about severe or multiple disabilities. But before we proceed to our topic this afternoon, I just want to introduce myself and my partner first. My name is Jasmar Sisausa, taking Bachelor of Secondary Education, major in PE. And my partner is Nawawa. She is a foreigner. And now, let's proceed to our topic this afternoon. What is severe or multiple disabilities? Multiple disabilities means a student has more than one serious disability, which may affect mobility, behavior, emotion, or sensory abilities. Some characteristic challenges of individual with severe multiple impairments are limited communication or speech impairments, problem with physical mobility. And how about when we define multiple disabilities and special education? Multiple disabilities in special education is a term for a persons with a combination of disability. For instance, someone with a both sensory disability and a motor disability. However, not every student who has more than one disability receive this classification. And now, let's proceed to history or proponents. Let's come back of the historical background of disability on how they treat people with disabilities before and how they treat people with disability today. Sometimes we need to know where we have been to figure out where we are now and what the future may hold. The following historical perspectives in quotes shed light on past, present, and future perspectives about disabilities. The hard reality is this: society in every nation is still infected by the ancient assumption that the people with disabilities are less than fully human and therefore are not fully eligible for the opportunities which are available to other people as a matter of right. By Justin Dart, disability rights activist 1992, quotes on DOMS 2002. Throughout history, people with disabilities have been treated differently from those who conform to or to fit societal norms. The following bulleted list outlines some of those unfair treatments that were acceptable by different societies in given times periods. It's like killed or abandoned in the woods in ancient Greece, not allowed to attend neighborhood schools, inappropriate levels and service rendered, experienced acts of infanticide during the Renaissance, drowned in burns during the Spanish Inquisitions, and housed in separate institutions throughout the world. During World War II, when many jobs were left vacant in the United States, adults with disabilities joined the workforce showing their competencies until returning soldiers replaced them in the years following the war. Thankfully, during the 1960 and 1970 civil rights movements began and created even more favorable climate for people with disabilities to continue to enter and succeed in the workforce and beyond. And also in the 2000 and 2001 school year, the states reported to the U.S. Department of Education that they were providing a special education and related services to 122 and 559 students with multiple disabilities. 24th Annual Reports to Congress 2002. And now, let's proceed to what is the characteristic of severe or multiple disabilities. The characteristic is the people with Severe or multiple disabilities may exhibit a wide range of characteristics, depending on the combinations and severity of disabilities and the person's age. There are some traits they may share, including limited speech or communication, difficulty in basic physical mobility, tendency to forget skills through disuse, trouble generalization skills from one situation to one another, and a need for support in major life activities, domestic, leisure, community use, and vocational. The next is the prevalence rates of severe disabilities in the Philippines registered at a 12%. Results of the National Disability Prevalence Survey or NDPS show that in 2016 around 12% of the Filipinos aged 15 and older experienced severe disability. Almost 1 in every 2, 47% experienced moderate disability, while 23% with mild disability, almost one-fifth. 19% experienced no disability. In the survey, the disability's prevalence rate corresponds to the percentage of persons with severe disability.
Since our topic is all about severe and multiple disability, now let us discuss about teaching strategy for this student. The first teaching strategy is to tap on the student's strength. As teachers, we shouldn't focus on their weakness, but instead we should focus on their strength. Because each student have their set of skill, interest, and strength. The teacher should find out what their interest is so that we can make an improvement to their strength. So the second strategy is to be ready to make a modification, because the right modification and accommodation in the classroom can help the student with multiple disability to assess the general classroom curriculum at a grade appropriate level. Modification is a change in what is being taught or what is being expected from the student. Example of the modification is to make the test or the assignment easier so that the student with multiple disability can do the work which is not the same level as other students do. Accommodation is a change that helps the student to overcome the disability. Example of accommodation is allow the student who has difficulty with writing to answer the question orally. This student is expected to know the same material and to answer the same question as fully as other students do, but he doesn't have to write his answer to show that he knows the information. Next teaching strategy is to let a student with multiple disability to partially participate in the class activity so that they are not excluded from class activity. Class participation is very important because the student with multiple disability will be benefited because learning takes place in participation in class activity. And the last strategy is using technology such as using iPad, iPod, electronic versions of book online available. This is a very useful inclusion strategy which can relate directly to literacy and numeracy goal by reinforcing learning or providing additional experiences. Now let us move to educational program for children with severe and multiple disability. There are a number of excellent organizations that help and support classroom instruction for children with severe and multiple disability. American Association of Intellectual and Developmental Disability is one organization that promotes progressive policy, sound research, and effective practices and universal human rights for children with intellectual and developmental disability. The next organization is Council for Exceptional Children, CEC. It is the largest international professional organization which dedicated to improve educational outcome for individuals with exceptionality, and children with disability. It also advocates for appropriate government policy, and it set the professional standard, and it also provides the continuous professional development. Now let us move to our research study. I have read a case study about a boy named David, a 14-year-old boy with severe and multiple disability. He has cerebral palsy. He is able to walk, but he has struggled with fine motor skill and speaking. He was put into inclusive classroom, but he has received occupational and physical therapy, and he is often pulled from general classroom. He is a nice boy. He gets along with other classmates very well in the class, and he doesn't have a major significant behavior issue. Academically, the teacher should see David's past accommodation and documentation from his previous teacher so that the new teachers can provide a classroom which best serves David. And socially, he should be observed how he interacts with other classmates. Does he do communication better in the less structured environment, or does he do more of his communication digitally? His medical history has to be checked. Like, can David be able to go for recess with other students, or is he function well in the classroom? So after receiving his medical history, the teachers then know what expectation they should set on David. David struggles to communicate verbally and is very limited by his poor fine motor function. To support David, personal computer is needed so that he can type his note and assignment. Digital technology can really improve David's ability to contribute in class. Collaboration, trials, and reliance on digital technologies are all extremely important to meet the needs of a student like David. For our integration of faith, let me read to you a Bible text found in Matthew 25 verse 40. It says, "The king will reply, I tell you the truth. Whatever you did for one of the least of these brothers of mine, you did for me." So the Lord has given us these children who are disabled, who cannot really help themselves, so that we can help them, we can protect them.